Everybody, thank you for joining my training on G2X. Really excited to have you here today. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. Um, I don't, I didn't have a chance to review the list, so I'm not really sure. Hey, from Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis, like one of my favorite places. Oh my gosh, yes, live music all day, right? So Nashville, Memphis, NOLA, those are some great places to visit for live music. And I was just going to say that today we're going to cover a lot of different topics. If you have questions, GDIT, hey, we are GDIT, big fan of GDIT. If you have any questions today during the chat or during my training, feel free to just jump in and ask them, or you can put them in the chat and Marianne will feed them to me as I'm talking. Because once I start sharing my screen, I'm not going to be able to see the questions, but feel free to either come off mute or pop them into the chat here. And if you wanted to drop your LinkedIn profile in the chat, we do like to encourage that sort of networking. So would love to have you guys understand who else are G2X users, everybody that's in here, and then work backwards from there. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and share my screen and get started. Okay, welcome to the G2X platform. And if you've been a customer of ours for years, you might know that August is 10 years for us. So we're really excited to celebrate our 10-year anniversary and to see what's next for us. At the very end of today's training, I'm going to talk a little bit about where the platform is going. And I think that'll be a really exciting topic for us. So right now, what you're looking at is the homepage. When you log in, this is what you see. You're going to notice that we have three different verticals. We have the health vertical, defensive vertical, and the defense vertical. Right off the bat, there's a couple of things I wanted to point out that most people do not know. This G2 exclusives link right here this is something we've launched since the beginning of this year, so it's kind of new. And these are deep dive capture reports or pipeline reports. It could be one or the other. So you can see just by taking a look at the top level view, you've got the Big Apples recompete, which I guess they're now calling Compass. Um, and we do write some different reports on who you might want to be teaming with and what's actually happening on the ground and all of those things. So likewise, we do pipeline reports as well. We realized that you wanted to get in front of different opportunities a couple years out. And so some of the reports will look like what should be chasing a couple years down the road. So that was just something I want to point out with right away. And the second thing that we've launched that folks don't really realize is the ability to save your search. So as you can see where I was going with my typing here, artificial intelligence is something, I don't know, you might have heard of it. It's a small thing right now everybody's talking about. And if you start typing anything up in the search bar, you can see that our super fast, speedy search will pull it up. You've got all different types of data whenever you run a search, unless you slice it with a specific keyword or a category, which you can do down here. If you don't do that, then you're going to be pulling up opportunities, industry moves, awards, all the data that we have, and being able to take a top level view of it. The nice thing is that you could then save your search. And if you do that, then anytime we add anything, and it doesn't have to be an opportunity, it could be an artificial intelligence event or an award or any of those other things, you will get an email alerting you to that fact. And it's not going to be an annoying email. It's a really nice roll up. So it's not coming like every 15 seconds. It's more like, oh, we've got these 8 things added to your saved search. And it sends it a couple of times a day if we have information that matches those saved searches. So the saved search feature was one that folks had been asking us for years, and we finally have. I did hear a little bit of scuttlebutt this morning that our dark mode has been released. So you can switch back and forth between light mode and dark mode. So I think that'll be a really exciting thing that the developers are working on right now. So starting from the top here, daily take is something we will wrap up the training talking about, but you're going to notice that you have the ability to slice the data by any different part and piece that we do kind of track in the daily take, and we have for 10 years. So the daily take is sort of like the front portal to our platform here. And the other thing I wanted to point out is that we do slice all platforms, not just the Fed Civ space, but we slice all platforms by the different agencies themselves. So I know that our customer base has a few different personas, and I know that most of them fall within the BD capture life cycle, but some of them are SDRs, right? Or somebody that works on the product side of the house. And they're only interested or assigned to a specific agency. So that's why we did this. And if I were you, and if like just this was my account, I would click on that and then hit save search. So that way, anytime G2X adds anything with justice, you'd be getting an email. And what that would do is basically kind of create your own alerts, right? Instead of waiting for the daily take to come out and reading it and backtracking into whatever you're looking for here, you're like, okay, I'm going to set up my own things I care about, and then I can read the daily take when I have time. I do encourage doing that. And then of course, you're going to be really honed in on the parts and pieces that you care about for your pipeline. All right. Do we have any questions so far, or should I keep going? Marianne, do you see any questions?
Nope, you're good.
All right, fantastic. Excellent. Remember, stop me anytime if you have any questions. One of the things before I jump into the next section here, I wanted to talk about is one of my favorite use cases for G2X. I was on the phone with a leader from IBM, and she said that she will read the daily take, backtrack into the platform, pick where her team needs to be, who they need to be talking to, what they need to be talking about, and then what opportunities she wants to pull into the front part of the BD process, all through reading the daily take and coming back into the system and then verifying that these are all the things that IBM will be caring about. And then she runs her team meetings based on G2X data. So I thought that was a really good use case for a manager or somebody that has a team of people. And you need some people to be out doing these things, some people to be running these things, some people to be doing these things, right? And what do they need to be doing? Who do they need to be talking to? Where do they need to be going? You can get all that information here. Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna pop over to events and scroll
Alexa,
through here. Yeah.
Sorry, we do have one question. Can you create a dashboard for saved opportunities?
So every opportunity, everything that you save in here, it saves under your bookmarks up here. So hypothetically, if you wanted to bookmark all your saved opportunities, and then you could click on this button and it'd bring you here. So, I mean, kind of, not in the way that you're probably asking. I know what you're asking because I've been a user and a builder of BGov back in the day when I worked for BGov, and also GovWin back when I used to work for GovWin. So, I understand the concept that you're asking me for. And one of the requests that we've had before was, I want to be able to create my own landing page. So for example, I think it is BGov where you can choose this, for example, as a landing page. So every time you came in here, you could have the same opportunities listed out, that you could be then keeping track of, right? So I do know where the question's coming from, but right now you'd have to log in and click on the bookmark section to get to what you're looking for. But I will surface this back up to the dev team as an opportunity for something we could build. And by the way, we have a live build. What is that thing we have called, Julie, where folks can then like give us ideas, and then we will send it over to the dev team and they will actually look through all the ideas. It's like a changelog roadmap kind of a feature where anybody that's a G2X user could go in there and tell us like, what should we build next? And I'll make sure that I include the link to that in the training follow-up as well. So you can do that, or you can add other things also. So I had just clicked into the events, and Marianne, was there another question? I saw it pop up.
Julie actually provided a link to what.
Oh, Julie, thanks. Appreciate you. Okay, so right now I just popped into the event section, and it's funny because Julie sits on a lot of these with me, and she hears me say this over and over, that G2X has the most robust events database in the entire industry. And I'll tell you more. I'll tell you why. We track both industry events and government events. So industry days, reverse industry days, government collaboration events that are hosted and put on by the government, and also industry events. And you're going to see both of those right here. This is a Department of Energy event right here, and it's in Dallas, Texas. Looks like it was this past Monday. Yeah, this is all going to be pulling from this week. That's how it does. And come on down. You can see that we've got all kinds of different things. By the way, this right here would be great to go to. There's like 14 agencies at the Denver Federal Center. And some of these, folks just don't know about. We spend a lot of time researching these events and getting them in here to make sure that you know where you need to be, who you need to be talking to drive what kind of outcomes. Okay. But that being said, I'm going to pop over into somewhere that's a little bit new for us. It is the company profile section. And, I try to think about how the government uses our data as well. So the way that they might use the data is to come in here and, search by a particular NAICS code and say, all right, I'm looking for all of the 8As with the primary NAICS code of 541512, and then hit search. And then you're going to get a list of 8As. And likewise, if you're a big business, like let's just say GDIT for, one of the top, GDIT is one of the top vendors as, prime contract holders in the space. If GDIT was looking for different socioeconomic slices of NAICS codes, this would be a great way of doing it. I hit search, you get the whole list. But I'm going to go ahead and pop into Visual Connections here to show you what it looks like. And once you're in here, you're going to see that the company profiles does rope together all of anything we've ever written about this company. You'll be down here. You can kind of go through there. It will also tell you everybody else on G2X. There's 10 people there under Visual Connections, and the socioeconomic status as well. So you can see that this company is a service-disabled, veteran-owned, hub-zone, minority-owned company. And if you wanted to even see the people on G2X, you can come in here and see who all is in here. And if you click on one of these profiles, you can learn a little bit more about somebody that's in here. So if you wanted to say, okay, well, who at Visual Connections would I even reach out to if I was to reach out to somebody? Because you're looking for a service disabled, maybe you're looking for, maybe you know that Visual Connections is a T4 and G2 prime, and you're looking to make a connection. This would be a good way of doing it. All right. I'm going
Hey,
to,
Alexa, I have
yes.
one question to ask. Does the saved day get archived after the search reaches the max limit? How is it better than Go?
Okay. I'm sorry, Marion. Can you repeat the question one more time?
Does the saved day get archived after the search reaches the max limit? And how is this better than Go?
Well, let me answer the second part of the question first, and then I'll backtrack into the first part of the question. So the second part of the question was, how is this better than GovWin? And then, so I'll just approach that first. So this tool, G2X, is largely, by and large, considered a business development tool. I consider, GovWin a capture tool. That's sort of my way of looking at it. And I do know that you can slice and dice GovWin data. I mean, I used to work there. So I do know that you can slice and kind of pull up forecasted pre-RFP opportunities and start kind of thinking about it. But GovWin is not going to tell you about events. GovWin is not going to tell you industry moves or give you a reason to pick up the phone and call a CIO because they move between agencies, right? So that kind of like market moving intel that happens quick, that's a G2X thing. And in fact, I'll have to say, none of those tools like GovTribe or BGov or GovWin are really tracking the market from that side of the house. I mean, BGov used to back in the day when they had a lot of reporters working in the GovCon space, but they've definitely migrated away from that these last few years. So hopefully that answers the question as to how G2X is better. I would say we were different, not necessarily better. I mean, GovWin is the 80,000 pound gorilla in the space. And Kevin Plexico is a good friend of mine. So I would hate to have him call me up and be like, hey, heard you was talking trash on a webinar. Nope, not today. And also, going back to the first part of the question, there is no search limit. And we do run and send you a rolled up search once a day. So we are not going to be then sending you double or triple or whatever counts down the road. This is something the team worked very hard on. We want to make sure that it makes sense when you get the email as to why it was included in your saved search. However, that being said, if you find something's not working as you expect it to work, please do reach out and let us know. Julie, if you could drop the email link for our support team in there. I want everybody on the call to know that we take these kind of things very seriously. We have a whole help desk stood up where if you submit a ticket, 6 different people get emails. It's all pulled into our Slack and everybody knows. So we are very, very on top of it. We have SLAs, we have tier 1, we have tier 2. We are there. Okay. Any other questions, Marianne, or should I move on?
Well, there's another one, but I'll let you answer that at the end because they want you to search a specific proposal and there's a lot of numbers of letters that you have to
Okay, yeah, okay. We'll get to that. We'll get to that one in the end. So I'm gonna stop sharing for like 2 seconds and I'm gonna hop over to oh, can you search the proposal number? Ooh. I'm gonna come over to the daily take and then we're gonna talk about Lumen, Gov AIQ, and our roadmap, and then I'll answer that other question. So let's go ahead and pop into the daily take. This right here is something that you probably have seen in your inbox, hopefully. And if you have not, please put your information into the chat and find out why you are not getting this in your email inbox. It should come to your email every single morning between 8:30 and 9:30 a.m. And I will tell you that this is curated by humans. So we had a situation last week, or maybe it was even this week, where the subject line said TBD and everybody hit us up being like, hey, the DoD take had subject line is TBD. Well, maybe everything in life is TBD, man. But yeah, we kind of noticed it after we sent it, and it's just an indicator that we are humans behind the scenes, and maybe that's a good thing, right? AI is not doing all the jobs. We have a team of a bunch of people that wake up really early in the morning, and they are scouring this information for you. So, featured items at the top, these are needle moving things. So, we've got this GSA Industry Symposium. We've got this GovLink networking event tonight, which is actually going to be really well attended because it's the prelude to GovJam, which is a sold out event. My boy Daryl Peak wanted to create South by Southwest. He wanted to do North by Northeast and make it GovCon specific. So, if you're not registered for GovJam, you have to do that before it sells out. So coming on down, you've got your awards. This data is so fresh and pulled every single morning from FPDS. Sometimes companies find out that they won or lost through reading the daily take. I mean, if you've won most of the time, you might have been in a BAFO or you might have gotten some indication from the customer, but specifically if you've lost is where you hear a lot of times through the daily take because you won't always hear they've awarded it to somebody else, right? Coming on down, you can see that we do track a lot of different areas for opportunities. And a lot of people do ask us this question, like, where do you guys pull for your opportunities? And that's another question I get a lot as compared to like GovWin and BGov and all these other, fill in the blank Gov tools out there. So we track from SEM.gov, obviously, that's the easy one. Then we pull in 3 different versions of the GSA schedule, so 541 F1 SINs, and also VETS 2 and STARS 3. So you're going to find all of those solicitations in here. And when you click into them, it will tell you which one of those vehicles it's pulling from. And then I'm going to pop on down here. You can see that we pulled some events that we think are important for you to know about here. If you were ever interested in sponsoring the Daily Take, you can do that. And this is, Metaphase is here. And also I did hear from Julie today that we're starting to get contacted about 2025. These sell out super early. So, you get the whole month when you sponsor it. So if that's something you're interested in, please do reach out to Julie. We do track different protests that happen and map them back to the opportunities in our system. So protest is an area that we think is going to be really exciting moving forward as we apply a lot of AI methodologies to why protests are being sustained, why they're being dismissed outright or this or that, and all the nuances behind protests that make it such a compelling piece of news, right? This is a section that we just launched called Hey Alexa, and really it's about sending me a question. Whatever question it is, it's a really great way of anonymously getting something answered. So for example, if you were like, hey, Alexa, I heard that VETS 2 just got, a $1 billion funding bump. Why would GSA do that? I have a whole answer. In fact, I have a whole article about that. So, but that kind of thing, it doesn't even have to be specifically about a GWAC or a Mac. It could be anything. Send this email, hey Alexa at G2Xchange, and I will write an answer and then I will publish that. Although if you want me to not publish who asked it, I'm happy to not publish who sent the question in. Industry moves, again, this goes back to having a reason to pick up the phone. And, as you probably are aware, there's a lot of movement industry-wise and government-wise every single day. We only publish on the government side folks we think that might hold a budget or be a CIO. So of course that means the manager people that have budgets. Usually when I try to think of who might own a budget in the federal space, it's usually branch chiefs and above. So the branch chiefs are really the folks that you want to get in front of, and you're going to notice that, in fact, that's who we got going on over here. And I found the best time to get in front of somebody in a leadership role in the government is right after they take that role, right after, right before their calendar gets completely inundated with a whole bunch of things. They're fired up, they're excited. Reach out to them. Hey man, hey gal, congrats on your move. you know really excited for you, would love to come in and chat and this and that, and you know how to do your job. Okay, cool. All right, so one of the things I'm going to pop into next is really to explain about Lumen. So you're going to see this little brain here, and I'm going to click into one of these links. It's going to be for NASA Soup. And really, I'm not going to click in through here. I'm just going to stop sharing and then reshare because I already have it trained and loaded in another screen. But if you click that link, this is exactly what you'd see. Sorry, I got to go back. Don't you love Zoom? So great. Here we go. Okay, so we're back here, and we're going to pop into the Lumen opportunity analysis where I just had clicked into the SOUP 6 updates, right? So a couple of things. Lumen is an RFI RFP shredder. So it will very quickly give you answers to questions so you can decide, is this something that we want to bid on or not? Or is this an RFI we want to respond to or not? To get to the or not faster, right? So if you go to G2X.com and you / any SAM link, it could be anything, it will ask you what documents do you want to upload to train the bots on to then ask questions against, right? So really quick, this is telling you that the due date is now August 28th. And when I did this, I only selected the last 2 Q&A documents. And I said, I gotta love Matt. I didn't upload the whole thing. I just was like, all right, summarize the Q&A that just got released. And so Lumen said the recently released Q&A provides clarification and answers to these 4 questions. And okay, cool. And then it's down here. I was like, all right, but what is new between the 2 attachments? And then it's basically walking me through what's new between the 2 attachments. So that's pretty easy way to ask questions, especially with big complex proposals, which SOUP 6 is pretty much fits that description. One of the things that people kind of miss when they look at Lumen for the first time, because they get very excited about chatting against it, and that's very exciting. But as you pop over here, you want to check out the in brief, because the in brief and then the response are 2 things that are what everybody's going to be looking for when they're looking to respond to an RFI or an RFP. It quickly summarizes exactly what it's, what is the government looking for as far as a response goes, and what in brief, what are we looking at? So like I said, I didn't upload all the documents. I only uploaded the last 2 Q&A, so it's not showing you everything, but it will pull in all the parts and pieces, and you can take a look at all the attachments from here and kind of go from there. Does anybody have any questions about Lumen? No? Okay. All right. Marianne, you're not seeing any Lumen questions?
Nope.
All right, I'm doing a time check, 12:24. Okay, we're going to go a little bit over 12:30 today, probably 12:40, 12:45, depending on Q&A. I did want to pop over here into GovAIQ. So GovAIQ, you're going to see govaiq.com. And Julie, if you don't mind putting GovAIQ in the chat box as well as the demo link that folks can download and watch later, that would be super helpful. Thank you. So GovAIQ is a proposal writing co-pilot tool that we purchased in May. And we are going to be bringing the worlds together. But at this point in time, you have to go to govaiq.com to log in. And there's 2 different options. You have login, and then you have, I think, sign up. You're going to hit the sign up button and then link your G2X logins together with it, right? And once you do that, it'll pop you into here where you get into your workspaces. And if you want to do the workspace, you can you hit create, and then you can upload from your computer or from a SAM link. And then Where you go from there is you're going to build an actual workspace that has a co-pilot writing tool. And this is one I've already trained. So I'm going to open the editor here and show you. But what this does is it will train bots on all of the questions that the government has asked and provide a written response without your data. So we are very aware, and in fact, we wrote a report in February about all of the different ActBot tools that are out there. So yeah, we know the use rogues and the whatnot, it's procurement sciences. We're very, very aware how they want you to upload your past performance, and then they put the bots and do this thing and wrapper this and give you something, right? We're convinced that you shouldn't use any sort of AI post red team. So when you go from red to gold to white, that should be done with humans, and that should be including in your company's secret sauce. Like, why should the government pick you, right? But up until pink, when you're still getting your outlines together, that's where this would come in really handy and make that to be the whole process super fast, right? So this will take you from 0 to pink in minutes. I mean, a light pink. It's basically an outline. So, right, that's Gov AIQ in a nutshell. I'm going to go back to G2X and I'm going to search. I'm going to have to stop sharing just for a second while I grab that RFP number. Thanks, Julie. So great having you on these. All right, I'm going to copy this proposal, this RFP number. I'm not even sure what number this is, but hey, nothing makes me more nervous than doing that. I have to say, I used to work for Vigo. I think I mentioned that, and it was funny because I worked there when the tool was just launched, and I'd be having a full day of demos booked, and I'd be like, hey guys, back at the home office, is it working today? Because I gotta be demoing. Oh, those were good times, I tell you. All right. So it looks like in the Fed Civ side of the house, it is not there. Let's see. Let's do all. Make this faster. Not looking like it's in our system. Let's figure out what this is. Oh, it's a protest. Yeah, we don't cover every single protest. It's for the VA. Looks like the file date is it still, the decision date was dismissed? Solicitation. So whoever asked that question, let's see. Oh, okay. It's one of these. All right. This actually is a really good example of this is actually a good place for me to explain a few things. And I'm going to stop sharing to just so I can pretend like we're all in a room and we're chatting, and even though I can't see you, I can imagine you all. All right. So this is a good time for me to explain that G2X does not pull every single thing. We don't have all the architecture, engineering, constructions, roads, commodes, and guns and dogs, right? We don't have any of that. G2X primarily started management consulting and IT services and a few of the staffing things. So while the one that you just put in there, Ryan, the thing, it looked like it mapped back to a staffing thing for the VA. And it's funny because people that have been around the space say all government contracting is staffing. Well, while that may or may not be true, it's not for me to say. I would say that things that are called staffing are not something that my team would automatically grab. We have a list of, I think, close to 20 NAICS codes that we slice with different PSC codes to get to the data that we provide every single day. But if it by and large looks like something that our folks aren't going to be interested in, then we are not going to add it, if that makes sense. Yep, for no problem, Ryan. But yeah, we get that kind of thing a lot. Like, oh, you missed this huge thing. And I'll be like, okay, well, send it to me. And I'll look at it and be like, oh, we didn't miss it. It's just not something that we would necessarily track. So now that being said, and this is a good time for me to transition into our roadmap. We are going to be expanding our coverage. So later this year, we are launching a tool called Capture, where we're going to be pulling in all of the SAM data, all of FPDS data, and then creating a pipeline tool. So those three together is going to be called G2X Capture. Spent a long time thinking of that name. Just kidding, right? So basically, we're going to be expanding to track everything. So if you wanted to pull that opportunity or, an AEC opportunity into your pipeline and add your teammates and this and that and track it through there, you can do that. That's something that we're working on right now. And then along those lines, we are probably a couple weeks out from beta launching our G2X talent tool. And that really is a tool where you can upload statements of work and then push one button and hit all your job description generation, like automatically using AI generate job descriptions. And then the folks that are applying for jobs can use AI to tailor their resumes for proposal submission and then matching the two together. So it's going to be probably one of the industry's most AI heavy recruiting tools out there. It's be pretty fun. Really bringing the capture and the recruiting piece together. All right. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? Okay. With that, then I think we are done for today. Thank you so much for joining. We really appreciate you being interested and being a member of G2X, especially as we grow and expand and launch more tools for this dynamic community. Have a wonderful day, and we will talk again soon.